Hello everyone, and welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. I hope you're feeling amazing, because today's update is the kind of story that makes the entire entertainment world stop in its tracks. As you've already seen in the title, we're diving into the latest about Alina and Alp Navras, and the revelation that surfaced on November 20, 2025, has left fans stunned, divided, and very, very emotional. If you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss what's really happening behind the scenes. We've got the inside track, and this one deserves your full attention. Let's get right into it. The news that detonated across social media and entertainment circles is centered on Alina and Alp, two of the brightest and most beloved figures in Turkish showbiz, adored not only in Turkey but by audiences across the globe. He, with that smoldering calm and magnetic presence that draws the camera like a magnet, she, radiating poise with a softness that turns into steel when a scene demands it. Together, their chemistry has been the fuel of countless fan fantasies, the kind of energy that ignites entire seasons, fuels edits, inspires music covers, and keeps fan forums buzzing at all hours. But today's story isn't about a new series, a fresh campaign, or a rumored surprise reunion on set. It's about something far more unexpected, the kind of pivot that reshapes careers and forces fans to reconsider what the future might look like. On November 20, 2025, timelines flooded, group chats exploded, and the conversation pivoted from, "When are they teaming up again?" to, "What does this mean for everything we thought was coming?" The moment felt like a curtain drop in the middle of a performance, sudden, dramatic, and impossible to ignore. To put it plainly, Alina and Alp Navras are charting separate paths in a decisive, career-defining way. This isn't simply about turning down a joint offer or shelving a shared script. It's a deliberate shift that takes them in opposite directions professionally, away from the dynamic that helped build a powerful mythology around their names. The connection that once had fans holding their breath through scene after scene will, for now, live in memories and replays rather than in any confirmed upcoming project. Here's the breakdown. For years, the draw of Alina and Alp, whether through their collaborations, their public appearances, or the way their names together seemed to promise electricity, became part of the cultural rhythm. You could feel the anticipation in the air whenever a hint of a joint venture surfaced. Their on-screen aura created a world where longing, conflict, and tenderness shadowed every glance. Fans were eager for a new chapter in that saga, another story to pour themselves into. But life, ambition, and the demands of a global industry sometimes rewrite the script. Let's start with Alp. According to multiple reliable whispers, the kind that rarely miss, he's taken a bold step toward Hollywood. Not a casual meeting, not a vague, "we'll see," but a serious commitment attached to a high-profile project with big names and international stakes. The move means months in Los Angeles, rigorous language polish, action workshops, long table reads that stretch into the night, and a full immersion into a machine that runs fast and relentless. It's a dream many talk about and few dare to pursue, not because the talent isn't there, but because the sacrifice is. This road will likely pull him away from the melodramatic textures and familiar rhythms of local sets for a while, shifting the spotlight to a much wider stage. Meanwhile, Alina is making a move that's no less daring, just different. While no one questions her versatility as an actress, her recent steps reveal a side of her that fans have only glimpsed through taste, style, and the poetic way she carries herself. She isn't just attending fashion shows to be photographed in the front row. She's in ateliers, at fittings that stretch past midnight, speaking with fabric innovators about sustainability, touching swatches of organic cotton and regenerative silk, debating supply chains, sketching with her hair tied back and her phone muted. The rumor, and it's a loud one, is that she's preparing to launch a sustainable fashion line with intention and soul. Think pieces with a story, clothes that carry memory, silhouettes that breathe. Her calendar, we're told, reflects serious talks in Istanbul, Milan, and London, and the kind of partnerships that don't happen by accident. So what does this mean for fans who have held on to the dream of seeing these two share the spotlight again soon? At the very least, it means the wait just got longer. That intoxicating dual presence will not be gracing a set together in the near future. For some, that's a heartbreak. For others, it's an invitation to watch them rise separately. To see Alp test himself against a new cinematic language and witness Alina transform a passion into a brand that lives beyond a screen. The reactions have been intense and varied. One side of the fandom is rallying with love, cheering them on with messages of pride and faith. You can feel the excitement in the idea of Alp's first major studio table read, or in imagining Alina choosing buttons and zippers with the reverence of an artist selecting colors for a canvas. Another side is grieving the end of an era, or at least a pause to a fantasy that felt so tangible it barely seemed like a dream anymore. They're asking the hard questions. Can the magic they create together survive when their careers pull them so far apart? Will the unfinished song of their on-screen rhythm ever pick up again? Let's remember something crucial: this is a professional shift. It isn't a breakup headline or a scandal-stained reveal. It's two artists answering a call. The entertainment world is restless and global. Talent doesn't bloom by standing still. For Alp, the risk carries the possibility of a breakout that introduces him to millions of new viewers. For Alina, the risk feels like a reclamation, the chance to build a world of her own, where design speaks to values and beauty refuses to ignore responsibility. Both steps are brave. Both could reshape their legacies. From an industry perspective, the ripple effects are already visible. When stars with that magnitude take different routes, doors open in unexpected places. Producers start thinking differently about pairings. New leads get their first big shots. International co-productions become less of a fantasy and more of a strategy. And fans, whether they realize it or not, get a richer landscape, more voices, more textures, more stories that refuse to be predictable. There's also something undeniably inspiring about what's happening here. It's easy to sit inside success, to repeat what works until it stops working. But the courage to pivot, to say goodbye to a sure thing and walk into the unknown, carries a kind of electricity that no algorithm can predict. Imagine Alp on a soundstage in Burbank at dawn, breathing in the hum of a different system, finding his place in a new rhythm. Picture Alina in a quiet studio, draping a half-finished coat over a mannequin, stepping back with that thoughtful half-smile she gets when she knows she's close to what she wants. Of course, the hope of a reunion never truly dies in this world. The right script has a way of folding time. Schedules that look impossible suddenly align. Accidents become destiny. But that's a someday, a maybe, a horizon we can't yet see. What's clear, right now, is the significance of November 20th, 2025. A date fans will remember as the day the story changed. Not the end of anything, but the beginning of two brave chapters written in different ink. So here's where we leave you tonight, with a question that only time will answer. Will these separate journeys make the next time they find each other on a set even more powerful? Can distance refine chemistry instead of dimming it? Or are we witnessing a moment where two brilliant careers diverge permanently, each becoming so defined on its own that the old narratives no longer fit? Tell us what you think. Do you see Alp conquering the Hollywood machine and coming back with a new edge that deepens everything he does? Can you imagine Alina unveiling a line so thoughtful and exquisite that it turns into a movement rather than just a collection? Would you rather see them chase these callings without compromise, or are you holding out for that one perfect project that brings them side by side again when the timing is almost too poetic to believe? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your voice shapes this conversation more than you know. And if this story grabbed you, if it surprised you, moved you, or made you rethink what success looks like, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars. We'll be here, tracking every whisper, every signed contract, every hint of a runway debut or a studio greenlight, and bringing you the truth with the drama, warmth, and curiosity this saga deserves. November 20th, 2025, isn't just a date on the calendar. It's a marker in the careers of Alina Boz and Alp Navras. He's setting his sights on a bold new cinema frontier. She's poised to stitch values into style and turn vision into wearable stories. Separate roads. One unforgettable moment. And a fandom ready to follow both journeys, wherever they lead. Stay close. The next chapter has already begun.